Hello and welcome to ESM Squared, the podcast for experienced social media marketers. I'm Emily, your host and long-term member of the team here at Iconosquare. Iconosquare is one of the leading analytics and management tools for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and TikTok. We're proud to work with some of the biggest agencies in the world, as well as huge brands such as Patagonia, Sephora, Versace and even NASA. If you're new to Iconosquare or just haven't got round to checking out our tools before, you can start with the basics by heading over to audit.iconosquare.com and getting a free audit of your Instagram and Facebook accounts to find out once and for all where you're flying high and where you're falling flat. These audits are extremely helpful when it comes to identifying problem areas and efficiently improving your social media strategy. If you're a regular listener of ESM Squared, you'll know that we have two types of episode: the interviews with social media experts, where professionals share with me and all of you their experiences working with social media, as well as their internal strategies, tips, tricks, and more. And we also have tutorial episodes in which I talk all by myself about a particular topic, which can often be a burning question for social media marketers like you and help guide you into making strong decisions for your social strategy. This episode is an interview, and I was delighted to interview Rob Van Loock, Sales and Account Manager at MyGuest, a digital agency based in Brussels that specialises in the automotive industry. Listen up, because Rob has some very cool stories to tell and a very particular strategy when it comes to social media marketing for the agency's clients. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the podcast and leave us a rating once you're done listening. And don't forget that you can trial Iconosquare for free for a whole 2 weeks, and you don't need to share any credit card information to get started. Contact me directly for any questions or feedback via emily@iconosquare.com. MyGuest is a digital agency specializing in automotive that helps brands with storytelling and content creation. So Rob, could you tell me more about the company and what your mission is?
Yeah, of course. Well, MyGuest is not a very old company. We're still in the startup phase, as we call it ourselves.
Okay.
The team is still pretty small, which is really lovely to handle. And for the customer, it's also a nice thing that the communication is easy and they don't have to go a difficult system to get in touch with us. So it's really fun. But we started almost 10 years ago, and initially we're the subsidiary of an IT company called Caria Group.
Okay.
And they focus on everything that is IT related stuff for automotive companies too. So all the hardware, software that you see in a car dealership comes from them.
Okay.
The question originally came from one of the customers, like, yeah, guys, don't you do some stuff in marketing or social media? Can't you help us with that? And it started as like, might be a good idea to do something with that. And that's how MyGuest saw the daylight, which is really funny. So we started really small, like I think with a team of 3 people. It was like 1 account manager, 1 developer, and one person for social media. And then it started growing really quick. And the idea behind this is that we want to help the car dealership with all their online marketing stuff, so they can focus on what's important for them, and that's just their own business. Because many people underestimate the amount of time that goes into this, and that's when we come to help them and support them in their in the daily social media activities or the daily online marketing activities, so they can focus on what's important for them, and that's selling cars. It's making sure their own customers are happy. It's also telling their story, because every car dealership is a bit different or has their own mission and vision. So we need to translate that into all their online marketing, which is it's a real challenge, because you may have 10 BMW dealerships, but they're all different. Even if they represent the same brand, it's a completely different approach.
That's so cool that the idea for creating the agency, the marketing side of things, came from a customer's request.
Yeah, we were like, that's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, why not? We'll try.
Yeah.
But it was in the begin phase of all this online media happening. So for us, it was something new, but we're always trying to search for the latest trends and like, okay, what's new and how can we help a customer in a different way? And at the time it was with social media.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's become enormous now, and it's like a real part of marketing. No matter which kind of industry you're coming from, you have to be on social media. But it is a full-time job, and as you say, you can't just do it on the side. It has to be a real mission for you. So it's really cool that the customer was the one to actually ask for it in the first place. So you yourself are a sales and account manager at MyGuest. You also obviously double in the social media side of things. Can you tell me about the rest of the team, how it's made up and how your role fits into that?
At MyGuest, we were in total of 12 people, and we're with 4 people focused on everything of social media and storytelling. So the other people are more developers or Salesforce-based people. And in the social media part, my role is more just making sure we get always more and more customers, which has been a real adventure since the beginning. So it's fun. And then the account manager role is also to help our customers getting better and better every day, because they want to see their own social media grow. They want that they become more important, and that they see that it's also becoming something important in their daily activities. So they want to do more campaigns. They want to do a little more storytelling of this or another event that's coming. So I try to help them in that, because they have often brilliant ideas, but they don't know how to translate them into something digital. And that's where I come to help. It can be anything. It can be some small event they're hosting for the launch of a new model. It can be something for a few cars they have left over in the inventory they want to push out in the market. That's where I come to help them and realize their idea.
In terms of your packages, like do you offer packages in terms of what you propose to your clients, or is it literally just like you just explained on an ask get basis?
It's always the two combined.
Okay.
Because the base package gives the client some safety. They're like, okay, my guest is going to handle it. The daily activities like the content creation or the copywriting, the community management. So these things, they need to be secured, if I can say it like this. That the customer know, okay, my guest is going to handle that stuff on a daily basis. And if the customer wants something on top, then it's on demand, because you don't know how much time you're going to invest in. If it's 1 hour, 2 days, if you need to go abroad with them, so it can change a lot. But that's the part where we are very flexible, and we always go the extra mile for the customer, because we want that they succeed too. If they're succeeding in what they're doing, then it's thanks to us. Then we know we also did a great job.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really agile and you're able to accompany them like from A to Z on their projects, which is a really nice and sort of close way to be accompanied by an agency. It sounds like you're really close to them.
Well, we try, because we love that we can offer everything. It's not always possible, but the idea is that the customer has just one partner for all of it, and that we manage the entire stuff for them. So it's also much more relaxing for the customer. If they're thinking about something or they have a question, they're like, oh yeah, let me just call MyGuest and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But it often happens that the customer asks us something in their life that we need to think about, like, oh my God, we didn't do something like this before. Yeah, sure, let's find out, and if it works, then it works.
And I've seen, obviously this is from like my insider perspective, but I've seen how many profiles you have on Iconosquare. So if I could just touch on your client base quickly, just so that our listeners can have an idea of how many people you are working with and how much work is involved for MyGuest. How many clients are you working with right now? And are you able to drop any names?
We are working, let me think, about 50 customers.
Right.
So 50 different dealerships. We have a few extra, they're not car dealerships, but they're linked to automotive industry, like a track organization for track days and other car events in Europe.
Okay.
Or the official Subaru Belgium and Luxembourg supplier.
Okay.
So those are the bigger clients. But you always have to think, okay, one customer has different social media channels, and the BMW dealership, yes, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, might have some Google My Business accounts too, because they have different locations. It doesn't stop at one client. There's always a bit more. And it goes from the local and small Citroën dealership that's been around for 100 years to the latest huge BMW or Mercedes dealerships, to the exclusive brands like Porsche or Ferrari. So it's funny to work with all these different brands and to see how they manage, or they want to manage, their online marketing.
I was going to say, it's so cool that you're able to work within one industry and have different levels of expertise, I suppose, to bring to the table. Obviously, we're here on the podcast for experienced social media marketers to talk about social media. So you started to touch on the different needs for BMW, etc. Maybe you could tell me about some of your clients' goals on social and how you go about achieving those goals for them.
That's a pretty easy one. they always want to sell cars. It sometimes happens that the car is not online yet on a website, for example, but that we publish it first on social media, and that the customer actually goes with the social media post to the dealership, like, "Yo, I saw this car on Instagram. Where is it? I want to see it. Can I buy it?" So that's pretty funny. And then we actually know it's a one-on-one sale, so that's really cool. But the idea on the long term, because we always want to work on the long term with the dealership, is to stay top of mind. So when a person in their region, in their geo-marketing location, thinks about a specific car or a brand, that it's linked to them. So, for example, I don't know, we have a Porsche dealership at the seaside in Belgium, and we want that if people think about a sports car and they live in the neighborhood there, that they think, Porsche Center Knock, that's where I need to go, because those guys, they have the craziest cars in their inventory, they look cool on social media, I need to go there. And that happens. So that's a really cool thing. And not all our clients tell those stories to us, but it happens that a story like that managed to get to us. And with that dealership, it happened. It was a customer from another Porsche dealership that wasn't that active on social media. The people went to the Porsche Center Knokke dealership, and they were like, guys, you post so much and it looks awesome. And the customer stories you're sharing, we love it. And that's how we managed to get here and buy our car. So at the end, the first goal is to sell a car for the dealership, and that for them it's easy. It's like, okay, that's the price I'm paying for the social media service of MyGuest. Okay, I need to sell, I don't know, if I sell one car, I'm okay for this month. The goal for the dealership is, of course, to sell cars, but at the end it's to say just top of mind, and that the focus is on the long term, because it's not just about selling a car, but it's also about all the other things that comes with it. And it's the maintenance, it's the after sales, like tires or accessories that people can buy. It's just not buying a new car, because somebody can always buy a car at another dealership or second hand. But if the person has a feeling with the dealership, he can always do his maintenance there. And we always try to explain to the customers the different channels and their added values. Because, for example, not all customers have Facebook Instagram or LinkedIn that are our three main channels that we're active on for a dealership. But we always explain to the customer that it's a completely different channel and a completely different approach. So, for example, on Facebook, we try on Facebook. It's us. It's the dealership communicating to their fans. Let me say a little bit easier to push new cars into the market, because we on our side have a lot to tell. And we're like, we have a new car, and there's a new car coming in soon, and a lot of promotions for this model or whatever. And once they became a customer, we try and push them to use a lot of the hashtags or to tag them in the pictures there's uploading online, and mostly on Instagram, with the idea that we can follow this customer, because once he has tagged us, okay, we know that's that guy. He bought a car like last week, because it's always something special. Buying a car, it's after your house, it's normally the most expensive thing you have at home. So it's always a big deal when you get a new car, when they're actually sharing their stories or their trips or the activities they're doing with their car. We try to get in touch with them through Instagram, with the idea that after 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they buy another car, because the relationship between the customer and the dealer after they bought a car is always at moments where the customer leaves money, because he has to come to he has a maintenance to do. He has to buy 4 new tires. He had a little accident and needs repairs. So these are moments that cost money for their customers, and it's not always a fun moment. But in the meantime, with the fact that we follow the customer on Instagram, we can share positive vibes to them. Like, for example, they go on holiday with the car, they share a picture, they tag the dealership. Yeah, of course, we manage the Instagram account, we see it, and on those moments, we comment or we share the message. We're like, oh my God, have a great time on your holiday. Just enjoy it. Nothing sales related, just sending good vibes to the customer. And they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. The dealership is thinking about me, is wishing me a nice holiday or whatever, with the idea that after the 4 or 5 years, he comes back and buys another car. So that's really funny that we follow the customer through his own journey as a customer at the dealership. And it happens that with the fact that the dealership is still top of mind in the customer's head, he buys another car without hesitating. If it's for him, for his wife, or for his daughter, it's really boosting his loyalty towards the car dealership at that moment, or the brand.
Yeah, that's so cool, actually, when you think about their main goal, which is obviously to sell cars. And by the way, I had no idea that you could actually buy a car through Instagram. Like, I didn't realize that people did that. I've never done that, but
it happens once. That was a pretty cool story. It was late in the evening. It was a pretty special Porsche. I know these cars. It happens that they sell through Instagram, and I think half an hour later, I got a message from an account, like super weird account, but I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I just collect the lead, ask for phone number, email address, but it was like an expensive car. It was like 300,000 euros.
Oh wow, okay.
And I sent it to the dealership straight away. I was like, yeah, contact him. I don't know, not feeling sure about it, but you never know. Okay. And a few days later, the dealership contacts me like, yeah, car is on the way to London. It was sold to some super rich family over there. So yeah, kudos to you. It was thanks to your lead that the car was sold. So at the end of the day, it really happens. It made me realize that we really need to make that every lead is important. Even if we're like not so sure about this one, you have to take every person so seriously on social media, because you can hide a lot, but at the end, it can be a completely rich guy wanting to buy a Porsche.
Wow, that's crazy. I love the strategy that you guys apply to the objective of the company. They want to sell their cars through social media. And what do? You turn it around, turn it into brand awareness, creating relationships with the potential customers and with the existing customers. And all of that actually moves into their main goal, which is to sell cars. I mean, that's where all of the expertise of social media marketing comes in, right? Because they wouldn't have done that by themselves. I think they probably would have tried to just sell the cars as aggressively as possible, whereas you guys are actually thinking out the strategy. It's really cool. Yeah, kudos.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. They just want, that's the idea of a dealership. We have 100 cars. Okay, how can we push 100 cars as soon as possible in the market?
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to the content side of things. So obviously you've told me about the goals and how your strategy works for most of your clients. You told me previously that your content is unique. So let's talk about the content itself. Who designs and creates the content for your social media?
That's something that really did a big evolution throughout the years.
Right.
Because I already said it, but dealerships are unique, and they have their unique mission, vision, their way of seeing things and how they want to identify themselves. And that's where we really want to make the difference or go with them in that idea. So all the pictures, or let's say 90% of the pictures that we share on their social media channels, are pictures that we take and are pictures from in their dealership.
Cool.
Because every showroom is a bit different. The team that works there creates a big difference, because we also want to, let's say we have 10 dealerships 10 BMW dealerships as customer. Well, those BMWs are all the same. The car doesn't change. But why would you want to buy a BMW dealership at that in that area or in that area? And it's because you feel a connection with somebody, because we always want to put a lot of people also in the picture. At the end of the day, but it's in everything. When you go shopping, for example, and you buy something expensive, like, I don't know, a house or some clothes, and you don't have a really good feeling with it, with the people that work there, you're like, not so sure about it. But if it's someone that you trust, that is honest with you, that you're like, okay, yeah, that seems like someone cool, I'm going to there. It does happen that people actually ask for a sales guy, like, yeah, I saw someone, is there, it's Frank, yeah, I want to see Frank, for example, because they have a good feeling with that person. So and that's why all the content we create is one-off. We don't recycle pictures or stuff. For the launch of a new car, then we're limited to the material we have, and it's stuff from BMW here from in Germany. So then we can't use anything else for that time. Yeah. But once the cars get in the dealerships, then we go there, we take the pictures. If possible, we ask to a sales guy or someone from the dealership to go next to the car, so that there's still a person. It gets a little bit more human. We try to make the content as human as possible, because just a car standing in a dealership is not always that exciting. And we're getting at the point where clients are asking, like, can I get on a picture? I want to be on the social media. And it's good, because when we do that, you get so many positive comments about the customers, like, oh yeah, it's I don't know, let's say, it's Rob. Oh my God, I bought already 3 cars with him, and I'm so happy with this sales guy. He's a great guy. Can always count on him, And other people see that too, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, this seems like a really good dealership. I need to go there. That's why we think it's unique, and it's all created by us. So that's also an important thing. And the way it changed is really funny, because now we have like all the necessary equipment to do that, because our team, 3 people plus me, we're all really into photography. So the quality of the pictures super high end, and it's also used in magazines or commercial activity. So it's really good.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, yeah, it definitely helps that you guys all like photography. And I guess, I wonder if the fact that you guys are doing such a good job and you have so many dealerships, like, would you say that word of mouth gets you more clients in that way? I mean, do you get recommended by a dealership to another?
Yeah, yes, definitely. It happens quite a lot. For example, we have a few customers that I think there are 3 or 4 customers that are within 1 kilometer range from each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they don't have any fear like, oh, but you handle the other brand on the other side of the road. They know that with their unique content, it's always going to be something different. And it's cool to see that they actually are going to promote us at the same or other brands. Like, yeah, those guys, you can really count on them.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's not really much space for special treatment when you think about it, because at the end of the day, you have such a personalized approach to each dealership that there's no reason to feel competitive in that sense. Yeah.
And it's also about the entire niche, because the automotive industry is so bizarre. If you're not into automotive, it's impossible for you to do a good job. It's like everything. Customers, they understand it and they see it. I think one customer did it. He changed with an agency between us and someone else every 6 months, just to have a different flow, to see how it went. And at the end, they were like, yeah, we're just going to stay with you guys because the other agency doesn't have the necessary feeling with the automotive. And we're missing that. And it's in everything. It is the way we do the copywriting, but it's also in the way we bring IDs and make up campaigns. It's difficult when you don't have a feeling or you're not interested enough in the automotive industry, because it changes so often and so quickly that if you're not up to date or you're not aware from what's happening around you, that you're running behind real quickly. And that's something that makes a difference for clients. But what I appreciate so much, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, was at a customer presenting our services of MyGuest, and I was like, I'm happy I finally found an agency that's like car minded. And it's funny because when you present the company and what we do, okay, it's like a half an hour presentation, and the other half an hour is just like car talk. Yeah. and that's when you start to get a bond with the customer. We don't see the customer as a customer, but just like a partner. And at the end, we want just to help them in everything they do without having the idea, oh, it's a customer. We don't want to put that tag on them. And that's when you get the chance that they are going to recommend you at other dealerships or car-related companies.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so interesting that you guys are really specialized in one industry. And as you say, I think that the love for the industry that you're working with, it's one thing to work for an agency and to be doing marketing for different companies within your daily 9 to 5. But if they're all in the same industry and that it's an industry that you love, no doubt that you can feel the difference in the work that you produce at the end, surely.
Yeah, well, we have a few customers who have different activities too, like different from and not automotive related. And sometimes they ask if we can help them. And we're completely honest with them. We're like, sorry, but no, it's not. It's completely different. It's not that we don't want to, but we're not gonna do it as good as we want to do it. So we'd rather not do it, because it's like, for example, I don't know, it's a restaurant or a clothing shop, and we're like, we love clothes, we love going to a restaurant, but we don't have enough knowledge of all that. So we'd rather not do it, because you will be disappointed, and that's not good for us too.
Yeah, that's your added value, isn't it? Is that you're honest and transparent about the industry that you are the most productive in. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we don't know something, we'll always tell the client like, okay, we don't know this, but let us figure out. We have a call every month with Facebook, just to know what's going on and what's changing and what we need to look after. And it happens that even Facebook tells us like, sorry guys, but we don't know. So just try it out and let us know if it worked. And it's often for campaigns. that we just have no clue if it's going to work or not. So that's always the fun part. They're like, that's the partnership stuff again with the dealership. It's okay, you know what? You don't know if it's going to work. We don't know either, but let's find out together.
Yeah.
And for the long-term relationship, it's really fun to work like that.
Let's. You spoke about Facebook, and you spoke earlier on about Instagram. So I wanted to ask you, what are the main social media platforms that you're putting your focus on for these automotive companies, and why those platforms in particular?
Facebook and Instagram was obvious.
Yeah.
Then it's LinkedIn is an important one in Belgium because we have it's a big fleet market. So we have a lot of company cars in Belgium. It's not something common in the rest of the world,
right? Yeah,
or less common. I think it's 2/3 of the cars in Belgium are company-owned cars. The tax system is really complicated too. So LinkedIn is an important channel for us for the entire fleet market. It can happen that a car sells, for example, if the way of tax deduction changes on a car from one year to another, the car will sell, 10,000 cars in the year before and the year after. If they sell 10 cars, they can be happy. On LinkedIn, it's important to inform a lot of people because at the end of the day, nobody knows. So that's always really handy. A car that's interesting for taxes, you often go or electric or plug-in hybrid. You don't find those cars under 40,000-50,000 euros. So it's kind of a big deal that they're not stuck with a car that's not worth anything at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then we have also we used to do Twitter, but it's difficult. TikTok we're staying off because it's not for a car dealership. I think for a car manufacturer it can be fun, but as a car dealership we're not pushing our customers to that for now. So it's mostly the three. Mostly really the three. And then Google Business is also an important one, but it's not such an exciting channel. But it's important to keep that just on a good score. Lots of informations. Definitely in the COVID-19 period, it was an important communication tool about opening hours or the way that customers could visit a dealership or not, or if they had to make an appointment. So that tool was really important because it's surprisingly how many people watch those things. I think the average dealership we manage is between 30 and 50,000 views a month on Google My Business. So it's a lot for just a normal dealership, and it's an easy, free way of fast communicating because the COVID-19 regulations changed so often and so quickly that we were lucky to have Google My Business at that time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know I used it a lot for anywhere that I wanted to go. So I guess a car dealership, why not? Definitely. Yeah, you mentioned TikTok maybe wasn't the best channel for car dealerships. Is that because you think that the audience isn't present on TikTok, or do you think that maybe wouldn't find the right content?
No, the audience is not the problem because that's always the dealer always does it. Not the dealer, but the car manufacturer always creates the perfect buying audience, and they're like, we launch a new model, and the people who buy the car. Those cars are between age, 35 and 45, young families. These are their hobbies, stuff like that. For us, that doesn't matter because the person we want to reach or we want to touch with our content, we don't matter who it is. It can be the son, it can be the grandfather, it can be the nephew. We don't care because we trust in the fact that the people will share those messages with the person that has to buy the car. Because as it's a big deal to buy a car, people do talk about it. They're like, oh, I need a new car, or I'm looking for a new car. So mostly the people around them, they know it. They're aware of the fact that somebody's looking for a car. So for example, if it's the son of 15 that sees something about the dealership or the brand, they're like, oh my God, Dad, you saw the new BMW 3 Series they're launching. That's something for you, because it's those people can really influence a lot. I know it myself when when I used to be a kid, I was like, Dad, buy that car, buy that car. And I trust on the fact that people still have a big impact on the people around them. So, for example, TikTok, I know the audience is like, mostly, what is it, 15, 18? 15, 22, something like that?
I think it's up to 24 is the main.
24 again? Yeah. Okay. I used to be on it, was like, not my cup of tea. But the problem with TikTok is, I think, for a car dealership, it's taking a lot of time to create something funny or to come up with a lot of new ideas. Yeah. And I think time-wise, it won't be worth it. So we're trying a lot more about on Instagram Reels, because that's already a channel that exists. The customer always has an Instagram account. So for us, it's like, okay, we build further on that channel instead of starting something all over again and making sure that's going into the right direction. So if we have customers that manage a TikTok account themselves, and we try to help them in the best way possible with the content too, and with some funky ideas. But the execution of the entire channel, it's up to them for now.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right. I mean, fair enough at the end of the day if you think that it would take you too much time. And I think you're probably right. I believe that TikTok needs to be as spontaneous and as ephemeral as possible. And I think that it's probably better coming from the dealerships themselves and the people working within those dealerships to create the content and post it just sort of when and if they have the time, rather than giving that job to you because, you're not working there. So it's not exactly the same perspective.
That's indeed something that's not easy because we're there once or twice a month for the regular content creation visits, as we call them. But for the spontaneous stuff, it's really not easy. We did it a few times, but then it's an Instagram reel, and the dealership can always use it on their TikTok account if they have one. And it's for special deliveries or special cars that we can really do something crazy with. Then it's worth it. Then I think it's worth it. But it's not easy to do that on a weekly basis. Let's say that's insanely difficult. Yeah, because I know at a car dealership, if we don't manage them, they're already struggling to do one post a week on their Facebook page. And TikTok is something, if you let it pass by for a week, it's not a good thing, I think. So if you're not active on a daily basis there, you're missing out.
I think you're completely right. Let's move on to your favorite content now. Is there a particular example of content that you are proud of personally, where you felt inspired to do something and you did it and it paid off?
Let me see. We did something really cool on content creation. It was pretty recent. We did the launch of a new Subaru car. It's called the Solterra. It's a full electric car of the brand. And we did the launch for all the dealerships in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And all the content that we made was also used by international press.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool to see. Because we did it, we took the pictures, and from that point, Subaru is free to use them, of course. And suddenly we opened the latest Top Gear magazine, and we're like, we do know these pictures. So that was really surprising, and something that the entire team can be proud of, because it's really team effort, because it's not something we do every day. And we knew it was kind of a big deal to work for a car manufacturer, and it was a first. So we were pretty happy with the result. And now we have also a really cool project. It's for Mercedes EMG. So it's also it's the people in Germany. Yeah. We're launching a new exclusive limited track car for them. Wow. So that was a really big project. First time with them too. And we will be shortly at the presentation of the car in the south of France too. Cool. So it's going to be a big one. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to see that you're such a small agency, but you're able to work on such big projects and things that really pay off and that you can feel really proud about. It must feel really nice for you. yeah, we find it's funny ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So cool. This is my last question. I wanted to ask you what metrics you pay attention to when you're managing these social media accounts for your clients. Yeah, what metrics do you look at and why are they important to you?
Okay. Well, for us and for the client, it's completely different. It's always funny.
Yeah.
Because the clients are like, okay, how many likes and how many followers and how many fans do I have? And I'm like, yeah, we don't care. It's about how many people you reach with the content. For us, the reach is one of the most important things. And then we go further on the actual click rate, because we always have a call to action. The call to action is like a click through a website where we can follow the people with the Facebook pixel or whatever. We know that the organic reach is very low. I think it's 4% average on a classic post. So it's always a bit stressful. And those are the numbers we really watch closely. If we know, for example, the page has, I don't know, 50,000 likes, and we see a small but constant growing in the reach, we know, okay, doing a good job.
Yeah.
If we know, for example, if the page grows from, I don't know, let me say 10,000 to 12,000 followers, but we see the reach remain stable, we're like, what's going on? This is not good. And it can change anytime. The kind of stuff we share has a major impact on that. If we when we post something, we already know 99% of the time this is going to hit the sky, or this is going to be just one of the regular posts. And it does happen that sometimes a post goes viral, and then it's a small party at the office. It's always cool. Or like 500,000 people reached without just organic. That makes us really happy. And we try to share the importance of these metrics with the customer, because they need to know too what's going on and how their social media accounts are scoring online. So it's limited to just mostly reaching clicks to websites, and clicks more important, because on the websites they always need to complete something, or they can leave their contact details. So if we know, for example, there were 1,000 clicks and they had 100 registrations, we know, okay, that's the ratio, it's good. And that's something on big campaigns we really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because there was once a campaign, it was quite a big budget. It was for Mercedes-Benz, and I think we reached 1 million people, but we also had like 50,000 clicks to their website. And we sold 600 cars in 1 month.
Oh my word.
So then the entire calculation can be made. It's like, okay, we had a budget of 20,000 euros. This was every click was okay. It has a price, but how much did it cost at the end of the day per sold car? And that's the thing that the dealership wants to know in order to repeat these campaigns in the future.
Yeah, and from the figures that you just said, I think that you did extremely well on that campaign.
Yeah, they were pretty happy. I think the day after we started the campaign, I visited quickly the dealer to check if everything was okay. And one of the sales managers came to me and was like, the campaign is running since what? I was like, early morning yesterday. I was like, we can see it in the showroom traffic. We have so much people coming into the showroom after seeing the advertisements. So then we know, okay, it's working.
Yeah. Oh, that is so satisfying. I love that feeling.
Yeah, we were pretty happy about it too. It was a good campaign.
I also love that you're able to look at your metrics and that you're so at ease with them that you're able to have predictions, and that you're able to tell when a post is going to work, when it's not going to work, and then when you need to use paid and when you need to stay organic. And I think that is really the subtlety of the expertise of social media marketing, is when you kind of know what a post is going to give in terms of results.
Indeed. Yeah, the only problem is that it's still the people need to come to the dealership to buy the car. It's not that they can buy cars online for the moment. So that makes it sometimes difficult to measure the impact of what we're doing. But that's why we have a really good relationship with the dealership, because they always ask us and we ask them, like, okay, how is showroom traffic? Did you see a lot of people coming in, people trying to ask at the dealerships where the visitors come from, if they saw the advertisements. So they try to give us as much as feedback as they can, because this can't be measured online. That's the only problem.
Well, maybe you could set up Instagram shopping.
Yeah, we try for a few customers with special cars, and then it's easier. It's easier. But yeah, you're still talking about for a special, for a Porsche, you're easily 80,000 euros. So, but it's something we could try indeed in the future.
Maybe it will happen in the future. You just add your car to your basket on Instagram, and just it will be delivered.
Indeed. Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's move on to the quick fire questions. I have 4 questions I'm going to ask you quite rapidly, and I'm looking for the first answer that comes into your head.
All right.
What takes up most of your time as a professional working in social media?
It's coming with new ideas. It's always trying to find something new for the customer.
Your essential tools for social media marketing?
We normally don't use tools, but we have one, and it's Iconosquare, because clients always want to know what's going on. And with that tool, we're able to send an automatic export every month to them.
Oh, that's cool. You guys use the reporting feature.
Yeah, yes, that's a really handy thing for us.
Cool. So happy to hear. What are your favorite accounts on social media? It can be very personal to you.
All the accounts we manage.
All the cars?
No, let me see. I think there's a few. If it's car related, it's probably Bugatti, because their content is always out of this world.
Yeah.
And that's probably luxury brands like Hermes or Dior. It's just the style.
Yeah. Okay.
It works for me.
You go there for inspiration a lot, do you?
It happens. But normally inspirations, we always go to car related accounts.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, your advice to community managers out there?
Treat every lead or every message that comes in with the right amount of time, because you never know who you're talking to at the end of the day. I've had it once, and I was really surprised because it was some royal member too of a family or something like that. So
wow.
You never know who you're talking to, and those people can really make a big difference.
Exactly.
We also had someone who was just a fan of a car dealership, and he was just sharing his passion and talking about cars he loved and blah blah blah. And we handled that really professionally, and we were always answering, always correct. But at the time, he didn't have the money, and 2 years later, he sends us back a picture of a car he bought at that dealership.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah. So that's all, again, the long-term partnership, but that shows if you treat people with respect online as a community manager, that you get that back, that kind of appreciation, and that's fun to see because you really help people. And even if people, for example, a car can break down, it can happen. Well, if it happens on a Sunday and you manage to help these people and answering them and making sure they're feeling comfortable, then you made kind of their days a big thing, but you made it less worse. And that's something they won't forget. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, for your time today. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we go?
I don't think so. No, just never underestimate the power of social media.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. We're very proud to have you guys on board as users at Iconosquare, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, and thank you for having me and MyGuest. It was a real pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. And that's all for today's episode. Don't forget you can check out our other tutorials and interviews with experienced social media marketers on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and many more. Please don't hesitate to give this episode a rating, and for all questions and comments or to inquire about being interviewed on ESM Squared, contact me directly via emily@iconosquare.com.